Anime has already made its first steps into the mainstream, and while it's not completely there yet, there's no denying that its growth in recent years has been nothing less than absolutely gigantic. And with more exposure, more future weeps will arise, destined to sit in their basements and enjoy all of these fascinating Japanese works everyone made fun of 20 years ago. But with the sheer amount of shows available, it can feel quite overwhelming to choose the right one to get started with, especially since the first few anime you're watching are extremely important for getting a positive first impression. So if you're new to the world of anime, or even a seasoned veteran just checking out if this guy on the internet is full of trash or not, spoiler, I am, here are 10 anime that in my opinion are great for starting your journey without creeping you out, making you cringe, or forcing you to reevaluate your life choices afterward. Let's go! Since this video is about anime that are best suited for beginners, what could possibly be better suited for that than an anime that revolves around anime? More accurately, Shirobako is a show about anime production that dives a little deeper into the spectrum. The daily struggles, the passion, the fun, and the dream to create something that everyone can be proud of. 5 friends with a love for animation started creating an amateur anime for the school's culture festival, all of them making a promise to get into the industry so that one day they all will be able to work together on a big mainstream project. A few years later, Aoi Miyamori, a cheerful and positive graduate without a specific goal in mind, starts working as production assistant at Musashi no Animation, where she gets directly involved in her first anime. Working as the thread that holds all different departments together in times of stress, Aoi gets confronted with how overwhelming her tasks can become, and not only she makes all kinds of experiences, but also the other 4 friends who all were able to make it into the industry learn that life usually doesn't take the easy route. Shirobako is an immensely interesting show that highlights many different sides of the anime industry and shows what it takes to make everything and everyone work together to be able to in the end create an anime that can be enjoyed by the audience. The show has its funny moments and likable characters, but what stands out the most is the showcasing of all the different departments working together and how truly important the role of each single one of them really is. All that said, it's just an incredibly good anime, so you might wanna check it out. Well, who would have thought that this would be on the list? Even if you have never watched an anime before, you probably at least heard the name of this one. Death Note back in the day not only increased the sales of plain white shirts and black eyeliner all by its own, it also managed to leave a deep impression, because for a lot of mid to late 90s kids it was the first introduction into a psychological cat and mouse game with a lot of suspense. In search of some twisted amusement, the Shinigami Ryuk purposefully drops the name-giving Death Note into the world of humans. A book that will kill every person whose full name gets written inside. Light Yagami, a genius high school student who stumbles upon it, takes it home with him, not believing the rules written inside to be true, but in the end, curiosity gets the better of him. With this newly acquired otherworldly power, Light tries to take justice in his own hands, but it doesn't take long until suspicion arises and the police in cooperation with a socially awkward yet brilliant detective named Al starts investigating. And with this starts a thrilling battle of wits between 2 equally intelligent opponents. There is a reason why many people suggest this show whenever the question of what should I start with comes up, because Death Note introduces you to the seriousness of anime without being overly brutal or going completely ham on popular anime tropes, and it gives you a well-rounded, conclusive experience that I'm sure you will never forget. While we are already talking about well-rounded experiences, I personally think that Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood still might be one of the best choices when it comes to just that. There's a reason why this anime stands on top of the charts to this day, and that's not only because of hardcore fans review bombing everything that even comes slightly close to it. It's because the story is pretty damn good as well. Devastated by her death, Edward and Alphonse Elric are breaking one of the biggest alchemical taboos by trying to resurrect their deceased mother. Not able to follow the principles of the equivalent exchange rule, their attempt not only results in total failure, but also severely punishes them for the rest of their lives. After getting rescued by their neighbor and followed by years of hard training, the brothers set off on a journey in search for the legendary Philosopher's Stone, which is able to defy the law of equivalent exchange. With the goal of getting back their old bodies, the brothers get caught up in a fast-growing and life-threatening conspiracy that holds many surprises for them. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is an anime that shows you that shonen anime aren't always about getting overpowered, and that good character writing can affect you in both positive and negative ways. With over 60 episodes, it can feel like a hurdle you first have to get past, but thanks to its great pacing, this show manages to keep you invested, interested, and rewards you with a feeling of pure satisfaction. Some of you who aren't anime newbies, you cheeky little bastards, might be asking now, what? JoJo? To which I reply, yes, JoJo. See, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is an entity of its own, but it can also be a great gateway into the whole world of anime. All the memes, the community around it, and the actual quality of the show itself makes for a fun and wild ride, and since I don't exactly know what kind of plot overview I could give you guys, I would just say this. If memes, a bunch of glamorous giga chats punching the shit out of each other, and an over-the-top visualization of different powers sounds like something you would enjoy, then definitely give it a shot. The only potential problem here is that you might end up liking JoJo, but not any other type of anime. But you won't find out if you're not trying, right? Oh, and start with part 1 and don't listen to anyone who tells you something else. First of all, if you're absolutely not into the romance genre, then you might still wanna give this one a try, because it is one of the few anime that I would say has a good chance of changing your mind. Spice and Wolf is a fantasy romance show that doesn't feel forced or too much. At times it is noticeably more mature than some of its counterparts, which is why I think it fits great into the spot of someone's first anime. As for the story, we can hold it simple, because it is simple. Holo is a deity, but not any deity. She's a wolf deity, just in case you were wondering about the ears. But what does a deity do if people stop believing in it? Well, of course, they start out working in retail. Traveling merchant Croft Lawrence, one day passing through the settlement, makes acquaintance with the naked goddess. This show isn't horny bait, trust me. Which offers him to become his business partner if Kraft is willing to take her back to her long-lost home in the far north. Seeing what Holo is capable of, he accepts the deal, and the unusual partnership, well, probably more than that, starts blooming. There are a lot of good adventure/fantasy anime out there. There are also a lot of good romance anime out there, but shows that combine all of these and manage to keep a nice balance between them are actually quite rare. Spice and Wolf does just that, and gives new fans of anime a nice package, including genuine and likable characters and a plot that, while not being overly epic, still has its moments that will make you crave for more. With the only downside being that after season 2 you're forced to read the novel, because the anime probably will never get finished. Which, to be fair, is the case for most anime, so better get used to it early. Still, it is definitely worth the watch, and arguably one of the best of its genre. We are taking a turn from fantasy romance to comedy romance. But in case for Kaguya-sama Love is War, I would even recommend it to die-hard romance haters, because the comedy aspect of this show stands out more than Elon Musk sending out an empathetic tweet. It's not like there isn't any romance in this show, but the way it gets handled doesn't feel like anything a normal person would call romance. But that's also why Kaguya-sama has a certain charm to it I've seen in no other rom-com anime before. Why is it well suited for being your first anime? Because it's a genuinely funny show. I would say that the premise of two people being in love but trying to pressure each other to confess first sounds extremely stupid, but hey, it works. And I truly believe that if this show isn't able to make you laugh, you just wanna watch the world burn. And here you actually can watch the world burn. And to once again go back to the well-rounded shows, here's one that chances are high you heard about before as well. And to be honest, there can't be possibly a recommendation list without Attack on Titan on it. Humanity's last bastion lies inside the walls of a medieval-inspired town, where people are living in safety of the roaming titans outside. But this peaceful life comes to a sudden end when an even for titans colossal creature breaches the outer wall, allowing all the other fiends to rampage through the streets of Shinganshina district. Watching his mother die during the evacuation, Eren's life changes forever. Fueled by hate and driven by a wish for revenge and peace, he and his friends decide to join the Survey Corps, a military branch trained to fight the titans and one of the last remaining glimmers of hope humanity has. What awaits you is an unsettling world filled with action, many unanswered questions, conspiracies, sims, and neurotics. But in all seriousness, the impact this show had since the airing of its first season was something never seen before in the media that is anime. And while there are a lot of people calling it overhyped or overrated, it's a show that earned its popularity and kept delivering season after season. If you can handle a little bit of gore and lean more towards serious and darker settings and also want to experience a finished story that is easy getting into, here you go. Also easy getting into is the hottest shit when it comes to wholesome and lightheartedness, Spy Family. The X is not pronounced. If you do that, tell me in the comments, so I can block you. Spy Family, out of all the before mentioned shows, is probably the easiest one to get started with. The reason for that is, this anime is easy to consume whenever you've got some free time. The characters synergize well, which makes most interactions very fun to watch, and although there exists a tense overarching plot, there is no deep story you have to pay big attention to. The story starts with Vestalia's renowned spy Twilight accepting his newest mission that focuses on gathering intelligence of a high-ranking politician from the nation of Australia in order to prevent an upcoming war between both countries. To be able to lay low and not stand out, his plan is to start a temporary family. But little does Twilight under his new alias Lloyd Forger know that his future wife and adoptive daughter are hiding some important secrets of their own. With this, the stage is set for all amounts of quirky and unusual family situations. Two people trying to find out what it takes to be good parents, and a child that is not at all as clueless as everyone believes. Spy Family takes likable characters and cute moments, throws them together, and lets you enjoy the result in chill, wholesome, and sometimes even epic scenarios. If you want something very easily digestible as your first anime, this might be the perfect one for you. After arriving back home from a short trip into the nearest town, Tanjiro is met with the horrible and traumatic side of his slaughtered family, with the only survivor being his little sister Nezuko. Not leaving his unconscious sister behind, he desperately searches for help to treat her wounds, soon to find out that Nezuko got turned into a bloodthirsty demon. After she almost gets killed, but ultimately spared by an unknown swordsman who sees potential in Tanjiro's abilities, the siblings follow the direction given by the mysterious person, where Tanjiro will soon find out more about the demons, the people who hunt them, and how he might be able to save his sister's humanity. Demon Slayer is a series you simply cannot avoid once you get interested in anime, and even if you try to, it will catch up to you sooner or later. But that shouldn't be too big of a problem, because it still is a very solid show. It has drama, it has humor, it has characters you will love and some you will hate. Yeah, it's quite tropey, but depending on your taste, that might be exactly what you want. It's enjoyable, quite easy to get into if you're interested in the setting, and it looks so gorgeous that even if you don't want to see much action, you might be able to overlook it, lean back, and just enjoy the animations. What would this video be if I wasn't going to recommend at least one isekai as a first time anime? So I sat down and started thinking which of the more recent isekai anime I would recommend to a first time anime watcher. To be honest, it only took me about 2 minutes to settle with that time I got reincarnated as a slime. The good thing with light novel adaptations is that it will already tell you 9 out of 10 times what it's about by simply reading the title. But to give you a little bit more information, 37-year-old corporate worker Satoru Mikami gets stabbed on open street, dies and gets reincarnated in a fantasy world as a slime. What a twist. After realizing the situation he's in, it doesn't take long for Satoru to find out that he's able to gain many different skills and abilities by devouring all kinds of things and enemies. While roaming around the cave he got reincarnated in, he comes across a strange crystal that imprisons the powerful storm dragon Veldora, and after a lot of shared sympathy, Satoru promises him to find a way of breaking the seal and set him free. Veldora, touched by the words of his new friend, gifts the little slime a divine protection by giving him his new name, Rimuru Tempest. From here on, Rimuru's journey into an unknown world begins. I'm gonna be honest with you, that synopsis sounds like the most generic fantasy stuff there is. And for the beginning of this anime, that's true, it's generic. But it quickly changes into more than it appears to be at first. Without giving too much away, I'm sure this anime will be something for you if you enjoy your bright fantasy worlds, quirky characters, political aspects, and your sad moments. Of course, there are a lot of other isekai anime I could have recommended at this point, but in terms of beginner friendliness and an impressive introduction to the media, I think Slime, out of many recent isekai, does it best. And now I will do what I can do best, which is annoy you by asking you to give this video a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel if you wanna see more in the future, and to recommend it to your friends, given you have some. I hope this list of recommendations was able to help you getting started, or at least gave you a neat little overview of some shows. Feel free to leave your thoughts and feedback in the comments down below, and have yourself a wonderful day. Maybe I will see you in the next video, and until then, peace!